and then the next day figure it all out again, and then just repeat that. So their dedication, their passion to our kids, to Smithville, is unparalleled. It's an honor. It's a privilege. Happy Principals Month.
Picture time.
Nothing more. Really nothing more. You're good.
Thank you. Awesome. Love working with you.
Yeah. So Emily Dukewitz and Raina Williams have been named semifinalists in the 2026 National Merit Competition. These students scored well on the preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship qualifying tests last fall. Just over 16,000 of the 1.3 million entrants are chosen for this recognition. The nationwide pool of semifinalists, representing less than 1% of U.S. high school seniors, includes the highest scoring entrants in each state. Congratulations to these outstanding Smithville High School seniors. And Raina wasn't able to be here tonight. She's out of state tonight, but we're going to see if she can come next month. So, Emily will be.
My name's Emily. My parents are here, so thanks you guys for coming. And yeah, that's about all I got.
And now I am going to pass it off to Dr. Justin Collins because he has some people to introduce.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, if you could approach the front, please. I would like to introduce this ecstatic group of gentlemen, the A-team. These are our school protection officers. Now, I thought I may go on about you, but I know you want me to quit talking. So between these four gentlemen is over 100 years of law enforcement experience. We are blessed to have them in Smithville. Their job duties range from traffic control, opening milks, opening fruit cups without the fruit cup spilling. That is talent. And the number one duty is protecting our schools and making us all feel safe. So a round of applause for our SPO. I'd like to introduce them. Mike Mast, Eric Randolph, Edward Morales, and Thad Seaver. Thank you, guys. And they came in food.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they look good.
They do look good, yeah. They're ready to go.
Yeah,
You get to go in the front, yes.
100 years of enforcement.
Over 100, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
That's very grateful.
And Randy, would you please try to display the superintendent update that has our cohort data on it, please? Yeah, just a couple of updates that I have for you guys. I got to do my first building visit this last week. I got to go to the middle school. It was a great opportunity. All of the staff, Todd made space for all of them to come and speak with me. It was great to hear from them. One of the things we are doing during our building visits this time is we have a district goal of our staff morale survey and the results. So I've taken some of those questions that we haven't performed as well on and taken those to the middle school, and I'm going to take them to the other 4 buildings as well to get some feedback on what we can do to see those results increase. While we over time seen an increase, we always want to continue to improve with that. So I appreciate Todd and his team taking out time during their playing periods and their own time doing work so I could come and speak with them. We had another great meeting with the Superintendent's Advisory Council. This month, we had the great topic of getting a little feedback on cell phones. So it was good to hear from them, you know, that teenage perspective of we've always had this and now we don't. Well, that was more of a high school feeling. The middle school, it largely has not changed. So in those 7th graders, we're in 6th grade last year, so it hadn't changed for them at all. But it was interesting to hear them. They got to learn a little. I think we're unaware of there is use for an educational purpose. And they're like, oh, so if our teacher had something on Quizlet or something and they wanted us to take it, and the only way we could on our cell phone, they could. So there is an opportunity with an educational purpose that they can use them. And said that they miss it a lot during passing periods and lunch. But I also told them it's really good to walk into the lunchroom and see you guys all looking at each other and talking as well, rather than looking down or running into me in the hallway when I try to walk through. So it was great to have them. We ordered as many Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets as I think you can potentially order and get it delivered by 11:30, and they just about finished them all. So it was pretty impressive, the 30 that were there. But always great to have them come in. We've also done a lot after homecoming, continue to debrief, just find ways we can continue to improve in that area. So excited. We had great weather again for the homecoming parade. I don't know how many people were down there, but it seemed like a great turnout. Really exciting to have all of our kids down there. And then the pep rally at the end is always fantastic. It's always a great week for our community. We hope that hour early is allowing people not to have to check their kids out early at the elementary level. That's the main reason we moved it up, is to allow our elementary folks to get to the parade early enough where they don't feel like they're missing it. And then below is this is our standard cohort enrollment. I know we talked about this early during our board retreat, so just want to say thank you guys. I think we are on now. We've started into hour 8 of our time together today, so appreciate all your time this afternoon. But wanted to share a little bit on our cohort enrollment. Everything is interesting in the fact that we're growing. We've talked to some neighboring districts and they're seeing declining growth while we're seeing an increase. One of the unique things for us is we have traditionally seen growth at that kind of 7 through 12, 6 through 12. And we've actually flipped that as a district where we're seeing a decline in our high school, but a growth at our elementary level. So while we are up 28 students this year, that's the column that's third from the left. It says actual on 9/24/25. The reason we choose that date is that is our state count day. So it just gives us a clean, consistent date to always choose from. We're up 28 students this year, and that is with a kindergarten class that is as small as we have had since 06-07. Across the nation, I would feel really safe of saying all kindergarten enrollment is going to be really low right now, just because of when those children were born. It was kind of right in the middle of the COVID times. So I have not left it at that level. If you look to the column that says year 1 of potential growth, we've increase that to our 5-year average, thinking that will rebound after that. But you do see across, we will continue to adjust. I wouldn't look much more than a year ahead or 2 years ahead, just with as much growth as we've seen over the last 2 years. Although it shows we were down a year ago in the 24-25 school year, we actually finished higher than we started. We had another 20 students move in throughout that year. So if we see that again, we'll be back up around 25-50. And anticipate that continue to grow. So other than the small kindergarten class, which we somewhat all anticipated, but actually saw it come to fruition, I fully anticipate growth for us to continue to be strong. I'm going to be happy to answer any questions that you guys have about our cohort data. And the only other thing I would share is we have great cake in the back, as well as think there may be some punch left. We had a new teacher reception this evening from 5 to 5:45. Any of our teachers that are new to the district, we invited to come, gave a chance for our board to speak with them, meet with them, and we had a great turnout and wanted to get them full of sugar before they left, so you guys get whatever's left.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Next up, 9.3, academic services update.
All right, we also have a presentation we'd like to share. I don't know if Randy, can you put that up there? Well, we are very excited. We love getting to share our data with you quarterly. And so the first thing we're going to talk about are new teachers. So we go to, yep. Yeah, it's not working. It says it's on.
Just fine.
Go ahead and just click it for me. Okay. First thing's just about data about our new teachers. This year, it's exciting. We have 5 first-year teachers, 4 elementary, 1 middle school. This is declined from last year. We had several more brand new teachers. And then we have 10 year 2 teachers, 9 elementary and 1 middle school. So as far as new teachers go, I think we ended up having some others that had previously been in the district or had shifted roles, but our number is really down on brand new folks. So that means we're keeping people, which is exciting. And we do something called a best practice workshop with our new teachers. This is our onboarding or what meets the needs of the Missouri teacher development system. There's a program that teachers have to go through for 2 years to keep their certification, and we run our own program. And they've gone through 2 of those sessions, those best practice workshops so far this year. The first one, Mindy and Julie ran for us, and it was about communications and relationships. They go over board policy, just effective ways to communicate, both to students, to parents, with each other, and how to just build those positive relationships and put deposits in with students and families. And the next one, Todd and Jeff came from the middle school, and they taught on behavior, time, and classroom management with new folks. So just anything that will help them out, give them tips and tricks. And then our year 2 teachers, both Dr. Carrie Chambers and Angie Sanders, our instructional coordinators, they've been going through the instructional side of things. So developing assessment capable learners in the SSC instructional model and all of the good quality instructional needs that our second year teachers have. So it's a good program. It runs for about an hour and 15 minutes once a month, and they go through 5 sessions for first year teachers and 4 sessions for year 2 teachers. Okay, next slide is about PLCs. We continue to have a focus on professional learning communities. This isn't different. This is a continuation of what we did last year. We're really pushing the importance of those PLC times. Our principals all do a nice job. The teachers do an excellent job. They meet with their teams and they focus on those 4 questions. What is it we want kids to know? How do we know that they know it? What do we do if they do know it? And what do we do if they don't know it? So everything from advancement, remediation, looking at data, that we work with the RPDC, and they come in and help them with their data walls and tracking goals. And it's exciting to see the goals that come out and the progress that they're made. They're tracking and keeping that. Every building has a data tracker. I can speak for elementary. Secondary has something very similar. Anything you want to add about the PLC time?
Sure. Middle school has it built into their calendar, so they're able to see each other weekly. Their schedules very conducive to that. High school has continued this year with EOC tested contents, have that protected time to meet once every 10 days. So about once every 5 class periods when you think about A-day, B-day block. And then the other contents that may not be in the same building together, or it's just very difficult to meet, we're able to utilize those 6 PD day, workday times where they have 90 minutes each on those days. So September 29th was one. This Friday is the second one. And we have 4 more after that, where those PLC leaders have been trained through some feedback that we received last year. Hey, we want to know more about CBL and how that ties into the PLC work. So we trained them this summer with Bill Zima from Marzano Academies. So really, they would be out in front of where the rest of the staff is, able to handle questions, lead, and then implement their plans for those PLCs.
Yes, so to follow up with that, so a reading teacher, and if you're in a grade school, third grade, you get to meet regularly, and same thing with middle school. But if you're a PE teacher, you don't have another PE teacher in your building, so those 6 times a year are very important, or your counselors or special groups like that, they meet and we give them a focus. And this year we're focusing on assessment, instruction, and agency, so students' belief in themselves and how they can learn and set goals. The SSD learning process, I'm going to skip over this slide. Brandy, it's the next page. It's actually how we do things here. This is also just the same slide you had last year, but it's just a good reminder that we have things to do. What if kids know it and what if they don't? This is the process, but I'm going to save time and move on to iReady. iReady is the assessment we give for reading and math at the element. It's K-8. And it is a criteria norm diagnostic, and it measures the growth of students. We assess it 3 times a year. DESE actually sets the windows for that, so we can't change that. We do it at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the year. We don't love always that it's at the very end of the year after MAP testing, but that's when the state says we have to give it. And we did notice growth. We were worried about that last year because it was the first year that we gave this assessment. We thought, oh, our kids are going to be tired, but they still showed growth. And so it shows readiness, and we compared that actually to our state assessment, and it does align. So this last year was our current baseline, and now we have those results. And PJ is going to talk a lot more about iReady.
Yep. Last year, as we talked to you about iReady, we were able to show growth from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3. Right now, every kid is taking this for the first time in their new grade level, so there's not a lot of information around growth because they haven't been taught any of these standards yet. So we wanted to spend time doing some correlation work, iReady compared to MAP. So there were pages and pages of work on this just to dive deep into it. And iReady says they have a reliability factor of 0.8. So they use a correlation formula where 0.5 would be in that moderate range. As you start to move into a 0.7, you're getting to that strong, into a very strong. So that's what I wanted to find out, if that is true for us. It might be true for their other clients, but I don't care about them. So I care about us. I want to see if that is true for us. Here's the couple pieces of math that we ran through. These are highlights in K-8 reading. So there's a whole lot that came out condensed into these bullets. So if I'm a teacher reading this, I would see that if I have a student in the spring on iReady at mid or above grade level, there's a 53.1 to 84.1% chance that student will be advanced on the map. That's my correlation. So I have an idea of where that student is. And we just kind of move right on down. It gets a little muddier in the middle because there's more space to spread out. So if you're early or on grade level, 45.8 to 75% proficient. Some of them hit advanced, some of them hit basic. Again, you have more field to spread. If you're 1 grade level below, there's a difference here between reading and math, 61 to 70% basic in elementary. However, 77.8 proficient in middle school. So we started to see a little bit of difference as we moved from elementary to middle school. And then students that were 2 to 3 grade levels below, 90 to high 90s, depending on grade level, were below basic on math.
On the difference between the math and the reading, as far as the correlation factors, is there just because the content is that much different? Is that why there's pretty drastically different variables there? So like when you look at mid to above grade level between math and reading, you have you're applying 53 to 84 in math and 44 to 67. Is that just a content difference between the MAP and the iReady in math?
So the iReady should be pulling our state standards. However, things that we look for are, does the MAP assess them at a different complexity level?
Yeah.
That can happen sometimes. So when we start to see data like this and MAP, the 2 first things I look for, I'm looking for where's our problems. That's kind of where I start. Then I celebrate good things later, but I start with that. And the 2 things that you might find are gaps in curriculum. Possibly we moved too slow in a content and didn't get to an entire set of standards. That's happened. Or the MAP may test at what they call a depth of knowledge 2. That's where we've been practicing, but the map might assess it at a 3. So there could be a complexity
There's
issue
some
too.
differences there. Okay.
And what she talked about with the PLC is where we're able to find those gaps, along the way, so we don't get a surprise at the end.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we're doing this work here, trying to figure out these correlations. So we have more strength and integrity in what they mean along the way. So we know what we're getting into.
Thank you.
Does that answer that?
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in real quick. So it's kind of a predictor for us. We know if they
Yeah.
fall in that range right now,
Yeah.
we believe this to be true. And we'll have to track that over time to see if that's consistently the
Right.
same. And each, again, I'll speak to elementary right now. Each of them have a building data tracker
Yeah.
where every student's scores are displayed. And so they look to see where those kids are. Is somebody on the bubble? They had conferences with students prior to testing to really cheer them on and say, hey, you just need a little push. So they really dig in, and their teachers dig in to really look at where kids are and what they need to just bump to the next level.
Just of the school, or is this last year's?
Spring.
Spring.
We try to do spring iReady and spring map together. So, and then another factor could be motivation. So we took iReady, I don't know what, 3 days till the end of school in May. So that's always a wondering too. So, all right, the math data is the next slide. Really similar format as far as if mid above grade level. They're looking at about a 44 to 67, 66.7. We're advanced. Almost all the rest were proficient. That group, if you're mid or above, it's almost a lock that you're proficient or advanced. Early on grade level, again, seeing a little bit of variance, 64 to 71% proficient. And then in the middle school level, 62 to 68, much tighter window, or that's elementary, sorry. And then if you're one grade level below, very heavy basic, with a sprinkle of proficient and a sprinkle of below basic, and then very, very similar results to reading. If you're 2 or 3 grade levels below on iReady reading, about 90 to 100% below basic on math, which fortunately it turned out to be a very small raw number. And again, the Pearson correlations that we found through all grade levels, that's a range, is at the bottom of both those pages. So we're looking 0.7 to 0.8. So that does say it for us, Smithville, again, don't care about the other clients. It has been a strong connection and correlation. So when we see these results, we can have some belief that we know exactly what they mean for us. So what's that all mean? More than just being able to predict, what this tells me is we're teaching the right things. We're doing a lot of things right. So as we move into CBL and we're looking at our curriculum, details will only enhance what we're doing. So it is a strong predictive tool. We're teaching the right things. I think the pace is good. The complexity is good. There's a lot of things going really, really well. We have the map to say so, and we have the iReady to say so. 2 really good data measures. iReady is a strong tool for reteaching, regrouping. Again, we take this a few times through the year. So as we get new information, we can regroup our kids and answer the questions in PLC. What do we do if they don't get it? And what do we do if they do get it? And the next step, there's a lot more numbers with iReady. There's a growth factor that they have an expected growth for each student, and then a stretch growth factor. So I'd like to run some more analysis to see what that looks like with the growth factor, not just the scale score. The other thing I just talked to you about was the overall scale score. So I want to see if kids are moving, and then what that means. So that's going to be a next step for us.
And every building principal has a goal based on this data too. So it's something that they're keeping in the forefront.
So the next 4 slides are all about our high school EOC tested contents. Since iReady goes K-8, we have to have our own tool. And when I talked to the high school, I said, I'm not super picky about what your tool is, as long as you have one and it makes sense to you and you can use it and it helps kids. So we have some variance as far as what EOC group might be using a different tool. So this is a build on last year's system where they now have PLCs in place. So we're out of the build phase. We're maintaining and enhancing as we go. This work for the high school and all 4 contents started this summer.